Everyone, welcome to this first mini episode of Humanize Automation. These mini episodes are meant to be like training tutorials that you can listen to on a quick car ride or watch while you're waiting for an appointment to give you different tips, tricks, ideas, and use cases for AI, generative AI, synthetic media, different automations, things that you can do to essentially, as the name of the show says, Humanize Automation. I'm Dr. Jill Schiffelbein, your host, and this mini episode is all about the anatomy of a prompt. When it comes to making prompts for ChatGPT or other generative AI, the field of prompt engineering has emerged where people are becoming very efficient and adept at creating the right type of prompts to get the results they want out of that generative AI. And what most people are finding out when they are experimenting with tools such as Copilot or ChatGPT and others is that if they are asking a question in an inefficient way, they're not going to get the results they want. And initially, when people started playing around with these tools, they'd post a question. When the answer came back subpar, it was like, the technology's not there. It's not up to speed yet. But we've quickly learned that, like most things, you have to learn to communicate well. And one of the things I always find intriguing is how can humans and computers communicate more effectively together? And that's what brought this episode about the anatomy of a prompt together. So I'm going to walk you through a quick example of how to start thinking about your prompt and the anatomy of that prompt from a writing perspective. So this use case and this anatomy is specifically for different types of writing, whether it's emails, whether it's blogs, maybe you need video scripts, maybe you need copy editing, maybe you need a mini book or a mini e-article, whatever it may be, any type of writing that you are wanting to use ChatGPT to help you expedite. I'm going to give you an anatomy that you can use for it. Now, of course, you can use these elements in any other type of prompt as well, but I want to narrow in specifically on writing and copy in this episode so you have a very exact formula, this anatomy that you can walk away with. Let's take, for example, that you want to perhaps make some new content for a blog. You know, you need to have more content on your website for whatever reason, and you know it needs to be produced quickly, and you know it needs to be a little more specific so you're targeting the right people better. So you type in initially to ChatGPT, hey, please write a blog post on topic X. Okay, so you're going to get a blog post. I am guessing you are probably going to need a good 60% of that edited to make it really, really appropriate for your business, for your brand, and your audience. However, when you start to add in specific elements into that prompt, you're going to get a much better answer. So let's get to it. The first element here is the output. You need to be very specific about the type of output that you want from the machine. So in this case, I'm wanting a 250 word blog post. So again, not only a blog post, but any parameters around the output that you're desiring in terms of length, in terms of format, you want to be specific in this first part. Now I'm going to get the second element, which is goal. When it comes to a communicative goal, especially a written communicative goal, it's typically either to inform or to persuade. So in this case, I want this to be more of a persuasive blog post. I want to get people a little more interested, intrigued. I'm not only teaching them, but I want them to persuade them to do something. But who am I persuading? You need to know your audience, this element. So you have the output, the goal, and your audience. In this case, it's high net worth travelers. So I'm crafting this for a luxury travel agency who's trying to attract more potential clients to give to their advisors. So again, you see writing a 250 word blog post to persuade high net worth travelers. What do you want to persuade them to do? Now you're specific about the goal, which is to schedule a consultation call with one of the luxury advisors. So again, the output, you're very specific. It's not only a blog post, it's a specific link. There's some parameters there. You know that you want to persuade, not necessarily inform, persuade. You know the audience, high net worth travelers. And then what do you want them to take action on? You want them to schedule a consultation call. Then you can take it a little further. Now you have elements that you can have in your prompt. You can include, and in this case, I put the brand name or brand line, Rethinking Luxury. Whatever your brand line may be, maybe you have a specific campaign you're working on. Maybe, you have A/B tested something that goes well in the marketplace. You can put that in there. And then I call this final piece of the anatomy customization. You can have ChatGPT and other GPT-like systems retrieve style and retrieve information from other sites to inform the output that it's going to provide you. So in this case, I'd set and write it in the style of the language on this website, and then you could insert the brand's website there. Or if there is another type of brand language that you like and you like the way it's presented, then you can use that website too. And this is a way to much more effectively craft these prompts or engineer these prompts so that you are able to generate output that, instead of needing significant amounts of editing afterwards, maybe only needs a little bit. If you can use ChatGPT or similar generative AI tools to get you 80% of the way there, then that 20% of the time, that's when you really put your humanness on top of it. That's when you really fine-tune the nuance. I love, there was a recent panel that Ben Affleck was on, and there's a reel on my social media about this where he said, think of AI as kind of like the craftsman and not the artist. You can teach a craftsman, someone who is building a craft, a specific tool set, a specific process, but it's the real artistry that goes on top of that to fine tune it, to know when to tighten that screw just a little more, to know when to make an adjustment here or to sand something down there. It's really that human element that differentiates the touch points and the communication that you have in organizations. So this is one way to really start using generative AI tools to help you not only prompt better, but to give you output that is going to be more aligned with what you need. So then you're able to get output faster and really spend time doing those fine artistic tunes and nuances and little shifts that are going to make the big difference in the end. To summarize, we have the anatomy of a prompt where you want to have the output. You want to make sure you're very specific around that and any parameters, whether it's a 250-word blog post or a 60-second narration for a video, whatever it may be, you want to be specific. You want to talk about the goal, that the goal is to persuade or inform, and then even further what that is. In this case of the example, it's to persuade someone to schedule a consultation call. It could be to inform someone about the way that we do work. It could be a number of different things, but you have a goal of either to inform or persuade, and then you have that specific goal, that call to action. You want to make sure you're identifying your audience. Knowing your audience is incredibly important, and the more information you can put about your audience into the prompt, the better the output's going to be. And then last but not least, think of any elements and customizations that you might want to include. Elements could be brand guidelines, branded taglines, specific phrases, and customizations could be either uploading a document and matching a style, or pulling content from a website, or uploading an image and showing that type of style. Whatever it may be, when you take these 6 different elements here that you see on the screen, the output, the overall goal and the specific goal call to action, your audience, the elements and the customization, you're going to get much better output for your generative AI prompts. And again, saving you time to put your humanness on top of it more instead of starting from a blank page. Thank you so much for tuning into this first of many mini episodes on humanizing automation. If you have suggestions for future mini episodes that you would like to see, specific use cases or technologies, mini tutorials, helpful hints and tips and tricks, be sure to reach out and let me know. I would love to hear them and help you better understand how you can leverage technology to make your communication more personalized, more customized, and giving you choice in how not only you produce, but how your audience consumes what you're putting out.